Okay, we're live, getting ready. I think we are ready. Yeah, we're definitely ready. Hello, 4:30. It's Mitch Goldberg and the Be the Boss of Your Money show. This is your post-market show every Monday through Thursday at 4:30 about the stock market, investing, the latest news in politics, business, and everything else that could affect you financially, personally. And what we want to do with the show is we want to give you the tools, the education that you need so you could potentially make the best possible decisions for your life, for your family. That's what the show is all about. It's about taking control of your money. So we've got a couple of things to talk about. Finally, an update in the market, a nice bounce. Was this just a bounce that, because we had a couple of bad days and we were finally able to bounce and some of the selling, the sellers are kind of out of the way now and the market was able to get a little lift. And then by the end of the day, once there were no more, once we really knew no sellers were appearing, then the buyers became a little bit more emboldened and bought even more, and the stock market rallied into the close. That's what I think it is. There are a lot of things wrong in the world, but there are a lot of things that could go right in the world. Stocks are a mechanism that is, it's called the discounting mechanism because they factor things in. Like, yeah, the consensus is we're having a recession in the next 6 to 12 months. But if we're factoring that into stock prices, then what we have to start factoring in is the recovery that comes after the recession. Where do we go into a recession that's so bad and so long that we just can't get out of it? Like a really bad recession with inflation, which would be the true definition of 1970s style stagflation. Okay, that's what we're talking about today. Let's put up the right banner. Let's roll the intro, and we're going to have a really good show. While you're watching, you know the drill. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. I love hearing from you. If you have any words of wisdom, words of encouragement, that's always a very special thing as well. And of course, if you want, give it a like, a thumbs up. This way I'll see who's out there, who's watching it, maybe a heart, an applause, we celebrate, whatever, depending on what platform you're watching on. I stream to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay, so we are out there and I want to see you. I want to see your name. I want to see you ask questions. I love that. Ask me anything. All right. Hashtag AMA. Here's the intro. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're just starting into the show right now, if you're just tuning in, what we're doing is we're talking about today's market finally an update. Is it a one-hit wonder? Is it something that is a meaningful, lasting bounce? And we just go right back up with all the stocks that got crushed because the stocks that got crushed the hardest were the stocks that rallied. Travel and leisure and the old pandemic stocks are the ones that really rallied. And the ones that didn't rally were the ones that have been rallying for the last couple of weeks. We spoke about this yesterday, where I was saying it may be time for some of you to rebalance who are afraid to buy industrial or other economically sensitive stocks because you're worried about a recession. And now it's time to maybe and you've seen your consumer staples and big pharma stocks go up. So maybe it's time to swap out a little bit of those winners into some of the losers. It goes against the grain. It's against consensus. That's why I'm not saying do this with your entire portfolio. There goes the screen blinking again. I don't know why it does it. Okay. I'm not saying do this with your entire portfolio. I'm just saying do this with maybe some part of your portfolio. Don't be afraid to take some gains. I see stocks hitting highs like Johnson and Johnson just hit an all-time high, right? Um, you know, does it keep going to new highs? Well, usually a stock that hits a new high, I'm not predicting or forecasting for Johnson and Johnson specifically. I'm saying that stocks that typically hit a new all-time high typically keep hitting new highs after that for some period of time. And same with stocks that hit lows, they typically keep hitting lows after they hit a low. And you have to accept that you could be investing in a stock market now where you are going to go backwards before you go forward. But that, people, is the nature. People, that's the nature of investing. Put money in the market, it goes down. That happens. You've got to give it time. And sometimes it takes years. And I think investors have gotten so spoiled that we expect to make gains very quickly and to make up for losses very, very quickly. It doesn't always happen like that. I've been doing this for 32 years. And I can tell you there are times when the market just meanders and your stocks do nothing for a long time. What happens is you give up, you lose patience. And a little while later, you wish you didn't sell those stocks. So don't. That's why it's important to be a long term holder. Let's say hello to someone out there. Hello, Rhonda. Rhonda, you know what? I wanted to give you a shout. Shout out to Rhonda. Hashtag shout out. I hope your shoulder is all better. I heard you had some uh, a shoulder surgery or something. We were on the FPA of Long Island board meeting today, and your name came up in a super glowing way, and we were like, oh, she had surgery on her shoulder. So I hope you're feeling a lot better. And we want to see the nice people feel better. Okay. Stacy's out there. Thank you very much. Rianne, thank you. Oh boy, Rianne. So many things going on in the background. Inside joke for us. Okay. So let's take it to the tape. I want to show you this eclectic day that we had in the market. Okay. So airlines, American Airlines up 10%. Host hotels, Southwest Airlines. Finally, Southwest Airlines has a good day, right? Marriott, but you see travel and leisure. First Republic is a bank. Hilton, Delta, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Carnival, PVH. They make clothing, men's shirts. Okay, but I'm not really looking at Moderna in this space. But you see the eclectic, travel and leisure and pandemic type stocks have done well. Like it was just an eclectic kind of day, right? What did not do well has been what's been working. J.P. Morgan continues to get smashed. They came out with earnings today below expectations. From what I understand, they took a big loss from nickel trading. They had to take $500 million in losses from, trade issues with Russia, or I should say, lack of trade issues with Russia. They still beat on revenue. They did over 31 billion in the quarter, but people are worried about their bottom line, not just their top line. Lilly has been a big winner. It's come down today. Waste management. You see a lot of the things that have been working have taken hits. Okay. Let's take a look at the overall Dow, the Dowser. I can't believe I never said it like that before. Hey, Jillian's out there. What's up, Jillian? I've been meaning to call you. I want to go to the next, event, the next big event that you guys are having, the Unicorn Network. But I'm not so sure about the dancing one. It's kind of like, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I know it's in your comfort zone. But, we have to talk about that. Okay. I'm totally digressing. My ADHD is kicking in so bad. Oh, I'm going out tonight. Um, First time going to an evening event. I have a networking event tonight to support an agency, it's called ACLD. Okay, charity ACLD. This is also the charity that takes care of my son. They have about 60 group homes and other services for adults and children with learning disabilities, special needs people. It's an amazing charity, and they're having their poker for a purpose tonight. I'm not a big poker player, so I go, I sponsor the event, I meander, I walk around, and I root for my friends to get eliminated from the poker tournament as quickly as possible so that they could come over and meet me at the bar and I'll have people to hang out with. But it is a great event every year, and I'm going out there tonight. So it's my first evening event in, since you know what, right? Yesterday is 7 weeks that I became a widow and a single parent. And how do I do the show and all that? I just want you to know the show is like the show's like therapy for me. Work. My work is like my therapy. The only problem I have with work is there's weekends because weekends suck right now. But I wish we could all work 7 days a week just for me. So it's not going to be. Anyway, I appreciate you guys all out there watching. And Rhonda says hi. So thank you, Rhonda. And oh yeah, by the way, Dow up today, Nasdaq up 2%, pretty good day. S&P up over 1%, pretty good day. Gold up a little bit. That's inflation worries. Oil was up again, right? And the VIX, the VIX, okay, was off. Typically, when the market goes up, the VIX goes down, or should I say, when the VIX goes down, the market goes up. If we see the VIX go into 20, we've got a nice rally in our hands, and we'll feel better that we're not just looking at a 1 day wonder. See how the VIX is down 10%? That's a good thing. That's like the one index that you want to see go down. Okay. Let's take a look at the bond market. Mortgage rates continue to be above 5%. They remain above 5%, I should say. 2-year yield coming down a little bit. The 10-year yield coming down. It's 2.7. Not really. It's pretty sticky over there. The 2-year yield was only down 0.02, but the 2-year was down 0.024. So the yield spread between the 2-year and the 10-year widened by 1 basis point, which is pretty inconsequential. 2 basis points is considered better. One is like statistically meaningless. That's what the terminology we use. Let's look at crypto. Crypto had a good rebound back above 41,000, and as goes Bitcoin, as goes the rest of the crypto space. Crypto basically is a speculative part of the market that follows the stocks that don't have earnings. So if you take a look at the DoorDashes of the world, the Zooms of the world, I'm actually not sure if Zoom has earnings, but if you take a look at like the Airbnbs, the DoorDashes of the world, crypto and those kinds of companies trade the same. They're correlated. Right? Just so you know that if investments trade in a similar fashion, they're correlated. If they don't trade in a similar fashion, they're non-correlated. And it's important to know that because sometimes when you put together an investment, you want to pick all investments that are doing well at the moment, which means they're correlated. So they all do the same. So when one goes down, they all go down. One goes up, they all go up. That's not really what diversification is all about. You want non-correlated assets. So when you put together a new portfolio, or at least when I know when I put together a new portfolio for clients, I can tell you that some of the investments in that proposal will be down or will not be doing so great at the moment, but that's part of diversification. Diversification is a strategy that we use to reduce risk, but it doesn't necessarily protect your portfolio from going down in a generally down market. Just my little disclaimer right there. Okay. Let's take a look at the watch list. We're flying through this today. Okay. So if you look at the industrials, American Airlines, Southwest, United Airlines, okay, but airlines leading the way. They've been such dead money. If you look at this line over here, like for example, for Southwest, 64.75 to 36, it's the stock is well below the mid range of its 52-week high and low. American Airlines is a little bit below it, and UAL is just about at the middle. But this has been a tough place. There's a lot of red in these lines. Boeing, Oshkosh. This is not Oshkosh B'gosh, by the way, that makes the children's clothing. This is Oshkosh that makes cement trucks, big, heavy emergency vehicles, fire engines, things like that. Okay. Textron. Look at the drawdown. See that red line in Honeywell and the green part? Look at the drawdown on these companies. United Rentals, 414 down to 324. Most of these, Deere's held up okay, but most of the industrial stocks have just gotten crushed. FedEx from 319 almost to its low of 200 or so. That just goes to show how bad industrials have been because investors are expecting a recession. And when you have a recession, these are the kinds of stocks whose earnings go down the most. So the stocks should go down the most. But is it factored in already? And is it time to start to factor in the recovery from the expected recession. So what we're talking about, the expected recovery to the expected recession, which will happen during or after the expected Federal Reserve fund rate increases. Say that 10 times faster. Okay. Let's go back to the tape. I call it the tape. Who's that? Wolf Warner, the sportscaster. Take it to the video. Okay. Man, that was a long time ago. I don't know if you remember that. But let's look at healthcare. This is besides Moderna, but if you look at the big pharmaceutical companies like Henry Schein, I want the big ones like Glaxo. See, it's set by its high. United Health, Merck. It's not too far from its high. Johnson and Johnson, not far from its high. Bristol Myers. Okay, Pfizer's off a little bit from its high, but Lilly not far from its high. You see, the big pharma has been trading pretty close to its high. I'm not, I'm excluding biotech at the moment in this particular example. So maybe it's time to sell some of the winners and buy some of the losers. If you're afraid to buy some of the losers because you're afraid that they could go down even more, you really have to consider yourself. You have to ask yourself, are you still an investor or you're just looking for what's working right now? Forget Beyond Meat. That's an entirely different story, but 160 to 45, just a disaster. But if you look at the real solid consumer staples, the ones like Cisco Foods, Costco, Kraft Heinz, a little bit of ConAgra. I'm talking food companies. Well, I'm cherry picking. Look at General Mills up at its high, CVS at its high, Procter & Gamble right near its high, Mondelez kind of in the middle, Coke right at its high, Kellogg at its high, Colgate not far from its high, Constellation Brands not far, Pepsi near its high. So you get my drift. Forget Clorox. Clorox is a pandemic stock. You get my drift there, right? We talked about this yesterday. I don't know if I really pounded the subject enough to get my thoughts through. All right. Rhonda, any news, anything you want to talk about regarding insurance or picking Medicare Advantage or something? Anything new? Maybe come on as a guest and talk to us about picking the plans and stuff like that, because a lot of people have questions. A lot of people want to know about this stuff. My viewers are national. I know we're in New York, but I can't imagine these plans are too different from state to state. But you could correct me on that when we talk. Okay. So that's what's going on today. Biden's approval ratings are plunging because people are worried about the economy. They see inflation going up. It's overshadowing anything that's happening with Ukraine and Russia war. I remember when George H. Bush was president, and he had this incredible high approval rating right after the Iraq war. But it wore off quickly because the economy was deteriorating. So Americans really care way more about the economy than they do about foreign policy, just so you know, okay? So, and that's just a proven thing over time. So I'm going to go now because I want to get to my event, and I'm excited to see a lot of friends there as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. All right, have a good night.